I've been looking forward to this. I like Star Trek. Star Trek. Between Star Trek and Star Wars, it's easy. I choose Star Trek. Stargate, I also really love. I don't have any novelizations for that. I'm not sure. There are novels. I don't know how interested I would be in them. But no, Star Trek, I love so much. So I've definitely been looking forward to getting to the novelizations. And of course, going to start with the first one, the motion picture. And I do have the novelizations for all the original cast movies. So that's this through Star Trek 6, which I have it as this novelization. Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, and The Voyage Home are combined in Star Trek Duty, Honor, Redemption. So it'll be like when I did the Star Wars trilogies, where it'll be one book, so it'll be one image there, but I'll try to make sure that it is properly labeled in the title and in the description what the specific book is that I'm in, the specific story I'm in, is what I mean. And then I will have Final Frontier, which honestly, that's going to be interesting because that's not that good a movie. But is it going to be one of those, yeah, but the book is better? It's possible. Even though the book would be based on it, it still is. There might be certain freedoms that can be taken with the novelization, or just a better writer for it than what they used for the movie. Also, I do have a certain thought that has occurred to me concerning Final Frontier that I think allows a defense for it. It doesn't defend it, but it may at least contextualize things, may explain things. We'll get to that. I'll explain them when we get to it. Star Trek 6 is my favorite of the original cast movies. I'm very much looking forward to that novel, not just because it is Star Trek 6, my favorite of the movies, but also because there is great potential there, I think, to get more insight into the conspiracy that takes place throughout the movie. Because just by virtue of it's a book, the narrator has greater freedoms than a camera lens. So, we're coming back to this. This will be interesting. I know a little bit about it already because I've heard it talked about some in something that I will also mention because I want to promote that. But yeah, so a little bit there, but it's also last time I watched through this movie. One thing occurred to me. Oh, and by the way, I should also mention this. Have it as an ebook. Link to it on Barnes & Noble's below. It just getting at the technical stuff. I do appreciate the cover image, mainly because that is very similar to the movie poster. But it has 28 chapters and 2 prefaces. Admiral Kirk's preface and an author's preface. So, yeah. Yes, the human adventure is just beginning. I think there was a tagline for the movie as well. I'm not sure what makes this a 40th anniversary edition, aside from it coming out then. Like, if they made any changes, I don't know. But in any case, last time I watched the movie, one thing that occurred to me that kind of helps explain, I think, why some people don't like it. It is, of the movies, the most science fiction. That's neither a good nor bad statement. That's just an observation. And by that I mean there's certain things that occur in it, like the whole a warp core imbalance leading to a wormhole being formed that we're now trapped in. It's like, well, it's a little weird, but it is they're trying to get a bit more hard science fiction there. None of the other Star Trek movies are like that. The original series is not like that either. So I can definitely understand that being but when you get to Wrath of Khan, it's a bit more of no, we're not trying to do hard science fiction. We are doing science fiction, and we're doing Star Trek. So, enjoy. So it will make it interesting to read the book, though, to see how much hard science fiction is in it. And it's also, to be fair, a book might be a better place for that stuff, especially for Star Trek. Because in Star Trek, because you're trying to tell a story, but you try and tell it on film, hand-waving is a bit more appropriate than in a book where it's like, no, we can go into the details. How detailed? That'll be interesting to see. Now, I do also know one other detail about this, and that is because in the movie, Captain Decker is the one who's actually in charge of the Enterprise, because Kirk is now Admiral Kirk, and so he is a flag officer. He is he can command a ship, but that's not his role anymore as an admiral. It's actually one of those funny things that sure, why not say it now? It is funny that of all the Star Trek captains, at least for broadcast television, I'm not sure about Archer, I don't remember from Enterprise, but between Kirk, Picard, Sisko, and Janeway, the only one that ever actually demonstrates the skills necessary to be an admiral, to be a flag officer that would command a fleet, is Sisko, and he's the only one that actually isn't an admiral. Everyone else at some point is shown promoted to being an admiral, except him. But Kirk is never shown commanding a fleet. He just becomes an admiral, and then we find out he's really not good at that. He's better as a ship captain. That's where he should be. Picard, I think in the streaming show Picard, which I've not watched, it is clearly stated he is an admiral, but there's also like all good things. If we take what Q had said to what Q was showing him as true, then he did achieve becoming an admiral, but I think there's like 1-2-parter when he has command of multiple ships. And it's like, well, he's just the head of a task force. It's not really more special than that. Janeway then is like only ever commanding a Voyager. And it's like, yeah, sure, getting the ship back from the Delta Quadrant, that's impressive. But that's impressive as a ship captain. That's not impressive as an admiral. Sisko, though, practically plans out half the Dominion War, it seems. So, I mean, it's like he actually does show competency as an admiral. No one else does. So I'm going to say, I'm not saying he's better than them. I'm not picking a captain here. I'm just saying I find that amusing. So anyway, Kirk is an admiral in this. We have Captain Decker, who's in charge of the Enterprise. One thing that is apparently in this is what I've heard, and not so much in the movie. Even though it's the same character, this is Commodore Decker's son. I think he was a Commodore. Anyway, from the Doomsday Machine. So we saw his death. And apparently in the novel, it's a bit clearer that there's animosity towards Kirk because of that. I don't remember what was said as far as any details there, but it could have just been as simple as, you survived, my dad didn't. Don't know. We'll see when we get there. So why do I know that? Because for a while now, I didn't know about it from the beginning, but fortunately I saw Graham Nolan on a different regular podcast, I guess you could put it, talking about it, promoting his show, The Landing Party, his podcast, The Landing Party, where he and some friends of his are going through Star Trek. We're not entirely sure when they're going to stop. I don't think they fully know yet either. But they are going episode by episode in production order, which is important, for now through Star Trek The Original Series. Hopefully they will do the animated series, the films. I'd like to see them do TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. I don't know if they will. It's Graham Nolan, Aaron Lopresti, I think I got the last name right, Ron Garney, and Anna, that Star Trek girl. She tries to change her title to that, but you would find her on the internet as that Star Wars girl. They're the ones doing it. The three guys, they don't really care for let's just say 90s Star Trek. Anna does. Hopefully she can bully them, or the chat can bully them to continue going into TNG, because, I mean, yeah, sure, you don't like them as much, but that's not a reason not to still go through them if you truly love Star Trek. Anyway, I mean, do whatever you want. It's your show. But I do hope that they do that. But in any case, when they did the Doomsday Machine, which the boys liked, Anna not so much. And, yeah, I understand the reasoning. Not saying I agree with it, but I understand it. They really like that episode, and Graham Nolan, because he does also read some research on that, and apparently it sounds like he has read the novel, at least this novelization. I don't know about any others. He read that, he mentioned that. It's like, oh, that's interesting. And I had already purchased the book at the time, I just hadn't gotten to it yet. So hopefully now we'll be getting to it before too long, and we'll see exactly what that is. It'll also be interesting to see what other things are in there, like how McCoy's presented. Because one thing, watching through it, it's like, Star Trek is a triumvirate. It is Kirk, Spock, McCoy. McCoy is the lesser of the three, it seems, but they are still equal. They truly are. They balance each other perfectly. Even if McCoy doesn't get as much screen time. That's something that's a bit more obvious watching through the original series. It will be interesting to see what it is in the book, though. Do we get more of his character, more of how he helps balance the two of them? So that'll be interesting. I'm very much looking forward to it. And it's also, I don't remember if I mentioned, I had already tried doing a recording of this book introduction, then gave up on that one because I knew The flow wasn't good. But and I do want to mention one other thing about the landing party that reminds me. That's the name of the Graham Nolan show. I don't remember if I said that, but yeah, if you look up Graham Nolan the landing party, or maybe even just the landing party Star Trek on YouTube, hopefully you'll be able to find it. It's every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Coming back to the novelization, though, one thing the last time I watched a movie that occurred to me is it is the most science fiction of the movies. In that it has things in there like the whole an imbalance in the warp core has caused us to create a wormhole, and now we're stuck in it, along with this asteroid that if we don't destroy it or get out of the wormhole, we'll crash into it and be destroyed. It's like, what? I appreciate science fiction. Don't get me wrong. I love science fiction. I've written books in science fiction. That's a bit more hard science fiction than I really am expecting. And I mean, the larger point of the scene is the Enterprise has been refit such that now Admiral Kirk doesn't actually know of all of its systems. Captain Decker does. And so it is Kirk, sorry, you're not in command, you don't know the full situation. That's the purpose of the scene. But it kind of goes a little long, focuses too much on science fiction. I feel that it feels a little like we're being pulled out of what's going on. By getting into such details there. It's weird. Sometimes by leaning further into something, actually pulling people out. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that's written in the book. None of the other movies feel like that, though. I think that in the other movies, they balance it a bit better. So there is still the science fiction, but it's not getting as deep into the details. I mean, it would be like in Star Trek 6, if you were to start talking about the specific mechanics of why a ship produces a neutron surge. I mean, it's like, which is, critical element it's critical in figuring out the conspiracy, but it's like, we don't need that detail. It's just, a neutron surge of that magnitude can only be produced by another ship. Well, it can only be produced by a ship. It's not us, so it has to be another ship. It's like, okay, that's it. We don't need more than that. It's still science fiction, but hard science fiction and how it seems to be in this, it's like, now we're going to get into the details of what exactly is producing. It's like, why? Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. One last thing I want to mention concerning the landing party is, because I do try to watch that regularly, you'll see me in the chat. And by the way, I'm saying this to promote the landing party. I'm not saying it as go there because you'll find me. No. I'm just acknowledging how much I also enjoy that show, so I'm hoping to share that enjoyment with others. Every now and then there's mention to sheets or stats. Yeah, that's me. I decided to go through all the episodes, find all their scores, and build up a table in a database first. I've now put it onto Google Sheets as well, because it's a little easier to share. But yeah, that's me. I almost feel like maybe I should apologize for that, but it's like, nah, it's actually kind of cool what I did. At least I'm happy with it. And it is ready to go through everything before Star Trek 2009. So, original series, animated series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. All of them are already in there. They're all ready. And the original cast films and the TNG cast films. They're all there. They're all ready. I hope we'll get them. We'll get the landing party to go through all of them, or at least as much as possible. But it's their show. They may decide, you know what? We don't like TNG. We're not going to do it. Disappointing, but you know what? It's their call. It's their call. But no, seriously, it is pretty cool. And they try to also, for anyone that's curious, they try to aim for about an hour that they go. Sometimes it'll be like an hour and 20. I don't think there are any that are really significantly shorter than an hour, but yeah, so if you just need something for an hour or in the background, maybe it works nicely, but you can also just watch it directly, and it can still be very interesting, very entertaining. In fact, I will say this, my favorite of the landing party videos that I can remember is Patterns of Force, because they started talking about the depictions of religion and such within Star Trek and Roddenberry's philosophy and all that. It was a fantastic and fascinating discussion there. I'm very, very happy to have seen that. So, yeah, hopefully others will agree with me on that. But yeah. So anyway, you can check that out. Graham Nolan's YouTube channel every Wednesday. The name of it is The Landing Party. So yeah, I hope I'll see you next time. As you know, I go through the chapters of this. But hey, even if you don't follow me through the chapters of this and the other Star Trek novelizations, that's okay. Maybe check out The Landing Party, yeah, and enjoy that. See you next time.